Where's the flashlight? Jesus.
Again.
I have my glasses on for this, not the interview.
You never have your glasses on for the interviews, which is actually a good thing.
Right, no, I would look like a douchebag.
Right.
Not the...
All right, so a little change up. I think it'll be fun. I think for this and that and start 'em, bench 'em, cut 'em segments that we have coming up. We'll just make it into one segment, call it this or that. We got Coach Troy Brown and Coach and AD Paul True coming on as special guests. Two funny personalities. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Troy Brown, full of energy. Paul True looks like Bob Marley. Let's do it.
Yeah, it'll be fun for sure.
I'm ready. I can't wait.
This or that. We have special guests, Paul True, AD, and girls basketball coach at Lake Region. Paul, welcome to This or That.
Thanks, guys.
And Troy Brown, head coach at Wells High School for the boys basketball team, and owner of
Wells Beach Lobster Pound.
who opened up yesterday, right?
Yes, sir.
What was yesterday's date?
14.
May 14th. So they're open and ready for business. Welcome, guys. This should be a lot of fun. We're going to start with this or that. Zach, it's all you.
All right, Paul, we'll start with you and we'll work to Troy, Scott, and Chris and around. So Red Sox or Yankees?
Red Sox.
Red Sox.
Yeah, Red Sox.
Red Sox.
Everyone probably thinks I'm going to go with the Yankees, but obviously I'm going with Red Sox. So,
The villain. The villain.
villain.
Last time.
right. So your cups in your cupboard in your kitchen, are they right side up or are they right side down?
Upside
Right side up.
Or upside down? Really?
Okay.
Right side down.
Upside down. I'm gonna go with upside down. That question was very.
Yeah, I don't think I did that very well, but
I'm gonna go there upside down
Yes.
because I think for stacking purposes, I believe.
yes.
Definitely upside down.
Upside
that's
down, for
gross.
sure.
So Paul, you're the only one that puts them right side up.
Absolutely.
What's the philosophy?
You like dust mixed with your...
Yeah, I
Drinks?
don't want any bacteria, any moisture, or any of that harmful garbage just kind of living inside of the cup.
Oh, so I think you're on board with us
I
then.
think you actually have them upside down then.
Listen,
You have to go over
the open part of the cup is facing up.
Well, then all that stuff's gonna go in it.
No, you put it down, everything gets trapped inside.
Oh, okay. So you're
Oh,
aerating
right.
it. It's like plugging the tee boxes in fairways. All right.
Okay.
That's why he's an administrator, boys.
Thanks for clarifying.
All right.
The next one I'm going to try to word it as good as I can, but your toilet paper roll, okay, in the bathroom, over the top or from underneath?
Underneath.
Over the top.
Roll.
Over the top for Coach Brown.
I am underneath.
Underneath is like.
Oh no!
it's like
I'm over the
you're
top.
over the top.
I'm over the top. I'm
You
over the
gotta,
top.
you gotta be over the top. Has to be over the top.
What do we call that in the paper mill industry?
Wire side out.
Wire side out.
Underneath it just keeps coming. It doesn't stop. You can't like tear it off.
I am. I'm over the top.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. I knew it was. Barstool Sports or Bleacher Report?
Ooh, that's a good one. I really enjoy, just for pure comedy's sake, Barstool Sports.
Yep.
Along with Coach True, I enjoy Barstool Sports, reading about it, but if I had to pick, it would be Bleacher Report.
Bleacher Report, Barstool Sports is too political.
No, it's not too political, I want
is
the
right now.
facts.
Yeah.
Isn't Barstool the one bite?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dave Portman.
That's who I am.
By that guy who's on
Just
Fox
because,
Sports
just
every
because
day.
of the one bite.
No, Fox News.
The pizza review.
Yeah, I'm Barstool Sports. I think, and I love Dave Portnoy, not because of Fox News. I think he is like second to Dana White in how to market yourself and market your company. And he's hilarious. And I actually think Bleacher Report kind of sucks a little bit, although I have the app.
Look what he's done with frozen pizza.
Is Portney the one that snuck into the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they just, Goodell banned
Oh my
him
God.
from all NFL stuff, and Goodell put out a bid, to watch a Monday Night Football game with him in his den, his man cave, and Portnoy put in a $250,000 bid and won. So you get to watch the game together. So that'll be
See
entertaining.
that little that Twitter video that he put together with him?
Yeah,
Spurting from the office, all that was pretty cool.
yeah. NCAA sports or pro sports?
NCAA sports, I love the atmosphere.
I agree. NCAA sports all the way. I mean, they're playing for themselves and for their teammates. They're not playing for a paycheck.
Yeah, college.
Yeah, I mean college, but as far as baseball goes, MLB I think still might have it over college baseball, but
Yeah.
the other sports I think college hands down.
Yeah. I think it's kind of sport to sport, but I think college too is basketball's better, football's better. So NCAA. Lobster or clams?
Ooh. Wow. Both?
Both?
Could I pick one? This or that.
That's not how this game works.
This or
That's
that.
like a burger or French fries. Like, man, if I had to pick one, I'm gonna go lobster.
You guys are gonna kill me. I don't eat either.
Wow!
Isn't that what you
Wow!
serve at your place?
Yeah, I don't like them.
Wow!
All right.
I've never acquired a taste for steamers or lobster. I mean, and the only really seafood that I eat is like fried clam strips, which is basically a rubber band and some vinegar.
I'm with Coach.
I mean, I don't eat either of them. My favorite food at our place is the chicken fingers.
Huh?
All right.
Amen, Coach Brown. You got my tweet.
I know that's right.
I'm in the same boat. I can't eat either of them. When I go down to Troy's place, it's gonna be the chicken tenders for sure.
I mean, I love both. I love clams, love lobster. But if I had to choose, I would take the lobster over the clams.
All of it. I love any seafood, but I would go lobster too. Soak it in some butter. Love it. Sweet potato fries or French fries?
French fries.
French fries.
French fries.
Sweet potato fries.
Yeah. I've come over. Sweet potato fries, a little bit of brown sugar on it. Try it out. Football or baseball?
Oh man. Put the mute button on Steve Bess's computer, and I'm gonna say football.
It's funny. Growing up in high school, I was a better baseball player than a basketball player, and I loved baseball back then. But now that I'm older, I love to watch football better than baseball. Football.
Paul, don't feel bad that football is a much more exciting sport than baseball. Football for me.
Football players only play once a week. Baseball players play 6 days a week. So baseball.
Football is more exciting for those that can't think the game of baseball, so I'm going to go with baseball there. Maine high school basketball, shot clock, no shot clock?
I'm pretty sure that you know where I stand on this.
Yeah.
Shot clock all the way.
I would like to see a shot clock.
Yeah, me too. Shot clock.
Yeah, shot clock. The tournaments that we played in with the shot clock. I mean, it cleans up the end of the game. You know, the whole delaying or the fouling, all that. It cleans that up. You can play defense now with 3 minutes to go instead of fouling. You know, just that point, it cleans it up.
Yeah. Shot clock. Definitely shot clock. Reggie Miller or Ray Allen?
Oh wow. Oh. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I really enjoy Reggie Miller.
I'm gonna stay here on the East Coast with my Yukon and go with Ray Allen and say that that shot in the Big East was one of the best I've ever seen to win that championship that year.
Yeah, Ray Allen, more athletic. Even though he was a great shooter, he had some highlight freaking hammers as well.
I would say Ray Allen, and if I'm not mistaken, he saved LeBron with one of his titles that he has, right?
Absolutely.
Before they got to the championship with that 3 against somebody.
San Antonio. No, it wasn't the championship.
Oh, it wasn't the
Tim
championship?
Duncan wasn't in the
There
game.
it is. Right, but it was an elimination, right?
Right.
They would have lost that game.
Yeah, that was, you can't, I mean, that was,
Yeah.
you're not gonna see many better shots that somebody can make like that.
Contested corner
Yeah.
off a kick out. Yeah.
It's pretty sick, really.
I'm not gonna bite on that. Although I will say this: the second highest percentage shot in the NBA, besides a layup, is a corner 3, and that's what Ray Allen hit.
Contested, falling away from the corner.
He's the best shooter, one of the best shooters of all
I
time.
would disagree that a wide open top of the key.
so,
corner contested.
I am going to go with Ray Allen. Love the Celtics. He was on the team that won a championship, and he seems like a class act. But that's a tough one. I'm still gonna go Ray Allen.
Jesus Shuttlesworth.
I was trying to think of that, Scott.
I got you. I'm telling you, me and you, Coach Mooney, we're on the same page, bud.
Denzel Washington was his father.
Yeah.
Tracy McGrady or Vince Carter.
What was it like?
Wow. Well, I really, I was a big Tracy McGrady fan when he played in Orlando with Shaq. I'm gonna go Tracy McGrady.
I really think that Tracy McGrady actually was a better basketball player. He just didn't last as long. I think Vince Carter kept himself in better shape. No, I'm not taking anything away from Vince Carter. He's a great player. I'd have to go T-Mac.
Vince Carter, UNC, Tar Heel.
Vince Carter, UNC.
I was gonna go Vince Carter till they pointed that out. I love Tracy McGrady growing up. I think he's a very underrated player. And maybe injuries has to do with that, but he was that 13 points or whatever it was in was it a minute or a minute 10 seconds, and it's pretty cool how it is. Tracy McGrady. Giannis Antetokounmpo or Kawhi. I think I butchered the last name, but Giannis Antetokounmpo or Kawhi Leonard.
Wow, these are really tough matchups. I'm gonna go Kawhi because I can pronounce his name. and honestly, I think he's a very, very underrated, big-time all-star in the league that can play any position, guard anybody, and play really well on both ends of the floor. So I'm going Kawhi.
I have to go Kawhi Leonard. After the performance that he put on, the shot that he hit against Philly, and then just that he carried Toronto in that finals that year. I mean, I was just so impressed with his basketball. I'm definitely Kawhi Leonard at this point. Yep.
A little torn. Kawhi honestly bugs the crap out of me. Get a personality. Oh my God. Giannis is probably gonna hopefully spend a majority of his career with one franchise. Kawhi's already been to 3. But I mean, Kawhi could be the face of the NBA if he had any type of freaking personality. And I just think at some point you gotta give up on this whole. What's that?
Cut loose a
Cut
little
loose a little bit. Lighten up, my God. So Giannis for me.
Kawhi.
Oh man, you're right about that, about his personality. But right now I'm gonna go Kawhi, and he beat Giannis head to head in the playoffs, and I think that's relevant. So I'm gonna go with Kawhi right now. Mark Wahlberg or Matt Damon?
I love the Wahlbergs. I'm going Mark Wahlberg.
Jeez, it's tough to go against Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. That's my kid, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Mark Wahlberg. Yeah, I've seen more of his movies probably than I've seen of Matt Damon's.
I think from an acting talent comparison, this is the biggest mismatch we've had.
Matt Damon
is
Yeah.
10 times the actor. But Mark Wahlberg is going to make the blockbuster. Mark Wahlberg is going to make the Transformers and the big blockbusters, where Matt Damon's going to do the Good Will Hunting, and he's got probably one of the best lines in movie histories with, how do you like those apples? From Good Will Hunting, one of the best go-off lines in cinematic history.
Yeah, he goes, "You like apples?" Guy
Yeah.
goes, "Yep." "How do you like them apples?"
After he just tore him to shreds.
Matt Damon.
I like Mark Wahlberg too. And it's not even about his act. I just think I'm drawn to him more. He's kind of entertaining and funny, and I don't know. Maybe I don't know a ton about Matt Damon, but Mark Wahlberg. Steve Nash or Jason Kidd?
Wow.
I love them both, but
MVP.
I love the gutsy grittiness of Steve Nash, and that guy he could get run over by a train and he's still getting up and fighting tooth and nail. I love the way he plays. So, Steve Nash.
I'm gonna go with Nash too. I believe he was the MVP of the league one year, wasn't he?
Twice.
Twice, yeah.
Rob?
I mean, the guy could shoot, the guy could dish it. I'd say his only weakness might have been on the defensive end due to his size, a little bit, and probably a little bit of desire to play D. Obviously, the other guy can rebound better than him, there's no question, but I'd go with Nash.
Yeah. Yeah, Steve Nash.
I'll go Steve Nash. He had better hair.
Why do you care? You don't care about hair, obviously.
That's coming from the haircut president.
I'm gonna go. I love them both actually. Jason Kidd though is one of my favorite players ever. As a player, but the thing he did as a coach when he had somebody run into, he had no timeouts left. He had one of his players run into him, so he dumped his drink on the floor. So they had to stop the game. So there's that. He's like top 5 all time in made 3
Remember,
pointers.
he's a Patriots fan. He knows how to bend the rules.
He is one of the best defensive point guards ever, and I just love him. So Jason Kidd. Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram?
Well, I'm pretty much a one-trick pony, so it's got to be Twitter for me.
Wow. I don't post a lot on Facebook. I read it almost like a newspaper. But Twitter has become sort of my favorite now because I've met you guys, you know what I mean? And we kind of tweet back and forth at each other and fool around. So I'm going to go with Twitter at this time.
Yeah, one trick pony as well, Paul. I'm the Twitter guy.
Nice.
Coach Brown, you gotta get TikTok.
Oh my god.
My son has it.
Hey, I was in first TikTok ever week or so ago.
Really?
Oh yeah, one of our COVID-19 family scenes. It was pretty cool.
Was that when you were
We can
dancing?
get our hands on that.
Yeah, it was amazing.
That was on a different, because I saw that. It wasn't on TikTok. I don't have TikTok, so I saw that
It
somehow.
must have got shared on Twitter, I imagine.
Oh yeah, because I don't know, Jacoby has TikTok. I don't even know what that was. I thought he was talking about an actual clock. So, but yeah, we did a little dance routine.
Ah. I like Twitter, even though I like Twitter, even though it's for the old people, but that's what they say.
I have them all, and I think Twitter is the best one by far. I don't really think it's that close, actually. Drew Brees or Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, Drew Brees for me. Don't even have to think about it. Can't stand Rodgers.
I like Drew Brees too. I just think he's a good guy in general. I don't, Aaron Rodgers isn't a bad guy, but I like Drew Brees. I think he can really huck it. I mean, for his size and everything, he reminds me a lot of Flutie. So I like Drew Brees.
Yeah, once I mean, I can't stand Aaron Rodgers because he's in the same division as the Lions. But what sealed the deal was trying to watch him chug that beer, and he was done.
Oh my
He
God,
was
that's right.
done. He was
Right.
done.
I still think that was a joke, but
I know.
I say Aaron Rodgers. If you look at his numbers, he's probably the best quarterback that's ever played. But when you can go 26 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, and they call it a down year, you know you're pretty good.
Did you say that ever played?
Ever.
Yeah, that sounds a lot like Tom Brady's year last year at 42. But I think Aaron Rodgers is the most overrated quarterback of all time. And I think he's pompous. I think he's a jerk. Can he throw the ball well? Sure. There's no question he's talented. Drew Brees by far. It's not close to me either.
And I
That's
don't want
it.
to get into a big discussion here, but I mean, Tom Brady's only had one world-class wide receiver ever.
Oh, really?
And Aaron Rodgers.
But he
Gronk's not
doesn't-
world class.
He doesn't throw to his wide receivers. He throws the
Also,
little.
I think wide receiver, that's a tight end.
Right.
He had one
He's still a
world-class
pass catcher. Probably the best that's ever played.
Could be, right?
Randy Moss, probably the best that's ever
Absolutely.
played.
Yep, that's it though.
Julian Edelman's not that bad.
Not bad for a college quarterback.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But he's
that's
not.
it. That's all we got for this and that, this or that, this week.
Yep. So are we gonna do cut him, start him, bench him?
If they want to.
You guys wanna stay on for like 5 more minutes, Paul? I know you got game time.
Oh my gosh.
Come on.
Yahtzee calling my name.
Come on.
I got 5 minutes.
Okay.
Come in.
So
Paul, you got lightning behind you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Serious thunderstorm going
We
on.
can see it.
yeah, we
it
see
in
it in the window.
You're
Your
cutting
windows.
this, you're cutting this out, right?
Yeah.
This part out.
Yeah. So this segment is gonna be called start 'em, bench 'em, or cut 'em. So we're gonna give you 3 names, and you're gonna start one, you're gonna bench one, and you're gonna cut one. You ready? Oh, yeah, hold on. Hold on. I gotta pour a beer.
I get tea.
Well, I guess it's gonna be longer than 5 minutes then, isn't it?
Yeah. He sits. Now.
Hey, 2 Mondays ago, Paul, that guy wore out his legs going to get beers, and I thought him and Zach Keem were gonna fight through the screen.
Oh, that was a bad night. That was a bad night.
The good thing is, I think the good
thing. Angry.
Yeah.
The good thing is I don't think Scott and I have feelings, so it's okay.
Yeah, no, we got over it immediately.
In fact, I think we record a show the next day.
Listen,
Yeah.
where'd you go Monday night? All of a sudden you were just gone.
Monday was, Monday. I mean, the week before we went to 4 a.m.
We went to 4 a.m. last week too.
Last week
Yeah.
I went to bed at 2:30 a.m.
Right, like last week I think it was 1:45 when I said I'm tapping out.
Hey, Coach
Because
Jesse, I got to meet your wife last
I
night.
know, I heard she walked in.
Fire.
I heard she walked in.
We were giving away the sets.
Apparently I just walked right by her and went and face planted in the bed, and she's like, "Did you shut the fire off?" And I didn't respond, so she had to go and check on it.
I shut this off.
I told her, I go, coaches' wives matter. I kept on telling her.
I think, Troy, I could be wrong. I think the last all weeks it's been me, you, Chris, and Joe Burnham that
Yeah.
shut it down. Like 3:45 a.m. The
My
Zoom
house
timer
was
says
still
that
up
he
when I
had.
went to bed last Monday.
He was. Maybe he was.
I have to work Tuesday morning. I have to work during the week still.
I do too now.
Yeah, I was like, I can't do it.
Alright.
And 2 weeks ago was the Monday when me and Zach were going at it. There was hard feelings going into that. So when I wanted to fight immediately.
I had no hard feelings going into that.
I was just watching Troy's face the whole time. Troy was like,
I kept on hearing Zach going, Scott, so let me get this straight. Scott, no, Scott, just listen. I let you speak, Scott.
But then as soon as it would get calm, there was Ryan DePompo doing
Yeah.
the Troy Brown stir the pot thing.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay.
We changing up the order?
We will start with Chris, and then we'll go around. So Chris, Scott, Troy, Paul, and then me.
All right.
Okay. Go do the little intro.
So this segment we're calling Start 'em, Bench 'em, and Cut 'em. We'll be giving you 3 names, and you gotta say who you're gonna start, who you're gonna bench, who you're gonna cut. Let's go.
Alright. Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, Chris Webber.
Wow.
Power forwards.
I would say I would start Kevin Garnett because of Celtics. I would bench Duncan. And I guess I'm cutting Chris Webber because he'll always be known for the timeout.
Valid. I mean, I know it's probably a majority Duncan and Garnett, and I'm guessing that a lot of you guys are gonna flip-flop, maybe Garnett and Duncan, but I know probably Webber will get cut for everybody. But I was a huge C. Webb fan. I was a huge C. Webb fan, and he just didn't have the longevity, but from a 3 or 4 year period where he was with the Kings and giving the Lakers the run for their money in the Western Conference Finals and getting robbed blatantly on a couple of those, I felt he was more skillful than all three of them for a small period of time. And I love the guy. So I'm going to go Chris Webber, start, Kevin Garnett, bench, and cut Tim Duncan.
Wow.
Yeah.
I respect it. And it's not necessarily it's who you prefer.
Right.
Yeah.
I am gonna start the big fundamental.
Yep.
I am gonna bench Kevin Garnett, and that is a tight. I mean, that is so tight for me. And I am gonna cut Chris Webber. And I liked Chris Webber too. I like the Fab Five. I like the whole thing about it. But I mean, I'm going by
Valid.
just the ability. And I think Tim Duncan is got to be one of the top 10 basketball players of all time.
Valid.
He's a great player. But Kevin Garnett was too. He really was.
All right, so I am definitely cutting C. Webb. I'm not a Fab Five fan.
Shocking. Old timer.
I'm gonna start Kevin Garnett just purely based on my heart because I love the passion and what he brought to the C's. And I'm gonna bench Duncan, although I'm gonna play him a ton.
I am going to. Man, I like all three of them a lot. Actually, I was telling Scott before. I only know Chris Webber, really Philadelphia Chris Webber, but still liked him. But I'm still going to start Kevin Garnett. Partly the same reason with Ray Allen that I chose Ray Allen. He was on that Celtics championship team. I think he kind of changed that position though. I think it was 2003 or 4. He played point guard for the Timberwolves in the playoffs because their point guard went down hurt, and I think that's a big deal for a 6'10" guy. And then I'm going to bench Chris Webber. And cut Tim Duncan just because I think he's boring. Not because I think I think Tim Duncan's a better player, but for my own entertainment, I'm gonna go Chris Webber. And a 10-foot bank shot can only excite me so much. Even
if you watch those 2001 to 2004-5 Kings teams, he's out on the break, running, throwing behind the backs passes. He's making the freaking corner jump. Skillfully, I think he was one of the best. He just didn't have the longevity. He got hurt early. He wasted a few years in Washington.
And just from the stats, the numbers, Chris Webber averaged more points than all three.
no shit.
He averaged more assists and more steals. Duncan led in blocks and rebounds, but I mean, really, all three their numbers are so close. Like they're so close.
Two of them are in the Hall of Fame, and
crazy.
Webber won't.
As far as ESPN is concerned, Tim Duncan is the number 8 player in the history of the NBA, and Chris Webber and Kevin Garnett are nowhere to be found. But
I would not have,
that's neither here nor there.
Close.
Next one: Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Dr. J.
Oh my gosh.
Chris Bessie, the floor is yours.
I'm going Larry. I'm starting Larry. Larry with his overall game, plus playing for the Celtics. Wow, we gotta cut one, either Magic or Dr. J.
You put yourself there.
That's insane. I guess I'm gonna bench. Oh, if Brian watches this, he's gonna be mad. I'm gonna bench Dr. J. And I'm gonna cut the Magic. Ouch. Hurt saying it.
If it wasn't thought provoking, it wouldn't be a good segment. Wow. I'm gonna start Magic. I'm going to bench Larry, and I'm gonna cut Dr. J. Very difficult. Very difficult. Coach Brown.
Okay, this is tough because when I was in high school, I was a Philadelphia 76ers fan. In fact, I still have my jacket at the Lobster Pound, the big velour jacket with the Sixers going across. Because all my friends liked the Celtics and I wanted to be that guy. So it was, I mean, Dr. J was my guy. I loved him. But if you told me as a coach now, I've matured in my ways, I am going to go starting the Bird. I am going to bench Magic Johnson and I am going to cut Dr. J.
Oh, wow.
I just think that both Bird and Magic bring more to the table than Dr. J. You know what I mean? As far as
For sure.
overall everything.
For sure, but if you use your guy, you just cut his
Yeah,
throat. You just
yeah.
cut his throat like that.
Yeah, I know, but you're asking me as a coach right now, and
I know.
I gotta go with
I
the
know,
guy that's gonna win.
It's hard.
Man, where does family fit in now, Brownie, huh? You're throwing family under the bus. Well, it's funny. So I grew up a 76er fan because everybody in my family loved the Celtics, and I also wanted to be that guy. I chased Julius Erving around the state when his son went to Gould Academy so I could have him sign this 6-foot beach towel that I hung in my room growing up. So I'm going to start the doctor. And this is where it gets really difficult, but I'm gonna bench Larry and cut Magic, and I love Magic Johnson and his ability to distribute the basketball. But
Gutsy. Gutsy.
By the way, I told Zach that you'd start Dr. J.
Yes,
Absolutely.
you did.
Absolutely.
I hate when we do this whole thing about talking about stuff before I was born because it makes it tough for me. I am going to start Magic, not Magic. Fooled everyone by accident. I'm going to start Dr. J.
Wow.
6'8", and I don't know. This is why it makes it tough. Was he one of the first guys at that size to play with the skills that he played with
On the wing?
on the wing, like the athleticism he played with, and all that stuff? And then I am going to bench Magic Johnson.
Oh, the first Larry Bird cut.
And I'm just kidding. I'm going to bench Larry Bird. I'm going to cut Magic Johnson. Just because it's Larry Bird, man. It's Larry Bird, and that's pretty relevant. So to
Okay,
me,
guys, I would have started Isaiah Thomas had he been available.
Oh my God. I'm sorry.
so Dak Prescott, Carson Wentz, Kyler Murray.
Jeez. I'm gonna start Wentz.
Wow, that is a good one.
I am going to bench Prescott, and I'm going to cut Murray because he's still young. Still young.
Who'd you start?
Wentz.
Wentz.
When's Jesus? You're gonna start a brittle little
That's
guy.
what makes it tough.
What does Prescott want?
No, that's exactly. I'm going to start Kyler Murray.
Who's unproven?
Who's unproven, absolutely is unproven. And we may look back through the archives when we're old men and we're like, remember the COVID when we did that show? And at that point, Kyler Murray may be a first ballot Hall of Famer, I hope. Carson Wentz, it could be hurt again next year and miss half the season.
Could be.
I'm going to start Kyler Murray. I'm going to bench Dak Prescott, and I'm going to cut Wentz.
Carson Wentz.
For sure. I mean, not for sure, because before he got hurt the first time, he was having an MVP season.
Yes.
He was having an MVP season when Foles took over. So that's my pick. Coach Brown.
I'm gonna start Dak Prescott.
Ooh, we got a Cowboys fan.
I'm going to bench Kyler Murray, and I am going to cut Carson Wentz.
Are you a Cowboys fan?
I used to be when Tony Dorsett was there,
Hey.
and Drew Pearson and Danny White
Yep.
and all those guys.
Tall Jones.
Yeah, Ed Too Tall Jones, Harry Martin,
Yep.
D.P. Lewis. I can go through them all.
Yep.
Cliff Harris. And Robert Newhouse actually was a fullback.
Robert Newhouse.
Dorsett. But I like Dak Prescott. I think he'll be okay when it's all said and done. I like the Murray kid a little bit. And Wentz, again, he's brittle. I don't know if the kid's jinxed or not. You know what I mean? I worry about that with him. You know, that year they went to the Super Bowl and everything. And I mean, I think that was his year. And I think that really hurt him. You know, with the other kid, Foles coming in and kind of winning that championship.
Yeah.
So that's where I stand on that. I know that Howard Cosell used to say that Tony Dorsett could cut on a dime and give you 9 cents change.
Barry Sanders was better.
Amen to that. All right, so I'm starting Murray for the wow factor. I just think he's sky's the limit with that guy. Anytime he's on the field, big plays waiting to happen. I'm going to bench Wentz because when healthy, I do like his decision making, and I like him. And I'm cutting all ties to Jerry Jones and Dak Prescott.
So I know for a fact I'm cutting Dak Prescott. I don't know what else a quarterback needs other than one of the best wide receivers, maybe the best running back, and the best O-line in football. I don't know what else you need before you don't go 8-8. So I'm going to cut him. I am going to also start Kyler Murray. I think he's... And the only reason I'm going to start him over Wentz is because of Wentz. He seems to be hurt all the time. And I think that's pretty relevant. So start Kyler Murray, bench Carson Wentz, cut Dak Prescott.
Let's go, Zach. Me and you, buddy, on
That's
the same
what I'm talking
page.
about.
Same page, me and you.
Nomar Garciaparra, Derek Jeter, Alex Rodriguez.
Wow.
I'm gonna start Nomar. Like, no question.
That's because you're afraid of pushback.
Can I cut 2 guys?
In their shortstop days, so pre-Yankees.
Texas Rangers.
Texas Rangers, Seattle Mariners, A-Rod.
Well, I'm still gonna. I guess I'll bench Jeter because Jeter's. You can handle Jeter, even though his reputation is because of where he was at. No, if you look at his stats, they're not even close to where they think he's at. And then I'll cut A-Rod just because it's A-Rod.
Same thing. Start Nomar, bench Jeter, cut A-Rod.
Guys, I hate to say it, but I could be the third Bessie brother. I'm going to go with Nomar.
Brian's gonna be
I'm going to bench Jeter, and I am definitely cutting A-Rod. There is no place in baseball for cheating.
Oh no! That opens up a can.
opens a
Well,
lot.
there.
They all do.
Didn't Omar even cut it?
Well, I want to say something different just to be a little confrontational here, but I think you guys nailed it. So I'm going Nomar, Jeter on the bench, and I definitely no qualms about cutting A-Rod.
So this is going to go a couple episodes ago. We did a this or that, Jeter and Nomar. I picked Jeter over Nomar, and then after I kind of regretted it when I really.
Because when you get hammered on
No,
Twitter. When you get
trust me.
hammered on
I don't
Twitter.
care. Trust me, I don't care about that.
When you actually looked at the numbers, because sometimes those
So I am going to. I can't believe I'm going to do this, but I'm. Derek Jeter. If you give a basket of your own memorabilia to every girl that you break up with, that's kind of a little pompous. Not that A-Rod's not pompous, but I'm starting A-Rod. because listen, I'm not taking
Wow.
I'm taking all the BS out of it and just saying that guy
Unfortunately, the BS comes with it.
absolutely
Choked.
raked at an all-time level. It was insane what that guy did at the plate. And I'm going to bench Nomar and I'm going to cut Derek Jeter. That's what I'm going to do.
Wow, you cut Jeter?
I'm going to cut Jeter.
Okay. Is that it?
I'm just going to do it. Yes, that's it. What do you mean?
No, is that the last one?
No, last one right here.
Last one.
Pedro Martinez, Roger Clemens, Randy Johnson.
Well, I think this is easy for me. Obviously, in their primes, I'd obviously stop Pedro. I would bench Clemens, and then I would cut Randy Johnson.
In their primes?
In their primes.
No question.
I'm gonna go the same. I'm gonna go the exact same order. And then I know Chris is with his laptop and his glasses and his stat crunching. We'll probably back it up, but I'm going the same thing. Start Pedro, bench Clemens, and cut Randy Johnson. That doesn't mean I didn't like Randy Johnson. Randy Johnson was, one of the best things in baseball for years for a lot of reasons. How tall was he?
Like 7'8",
6'9",
6'10", I think, or whatever he was.
6'9", throwing it, killing a bird. I mean, come on, Coach Brown.
I am gonna start Pedro. If I go the same way as you guys, they're gonna think I'm sleeping in the den. I'm gonna keep a left-hander on the bench with Randy Johnson, just so
All right.
if Pedro gets in any trouble, we can bring the lefty in. And I'm gonna cut Clemens. And I'm gonna tell you guys, I really love Roger Clemens. I do. But I gotta go a little different. I'll go Pedro. Loved it because he slung it.
Yeah.
He didn't really use his body. And so did Randy. Randy slung it too. And I go Pedro, Randy, and then cut Clemens.
Wow. So after Pedro threw down Don Zimmer, he gets my vote. All until the start. I gotta go Randy Johnson, number 2.
Okay.
He's on the bench, and unfortunately, I'm cutting the Rocket.
I've been trying to think this whole time while you guys are talking what I'm going to do, and I'm going to start Randy Johnson in his prime. Randy Johnson. No, I'm not. No, geez, I'm going to start Pedro Martinez, bench Randy Johnson, and cut Roger Clemens.
Wow.
That's two, Zach. That's 2 we agreed on.
Which I'm glad my dad doesn't watch his show because his favorite player of all time is Roger Clemens, but he doesn't know what YouTube is. So that's what I'm going to go with that.
Cool.
That's all that.
That's the end of start 'em, bench 'em, cut 'em. This was a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys are available in the future to do this more often. Thanks for joining us. Andrew Morong, Coach Andrew Morong of CMCC is our interview today. To be honest with you, I do not know a lot about him. I know a lot about his recent success within the last 5, 6, 7 years at CM. So I'm looking forward to seeing his background.
No. Yeah, I don't know him real well personally, but coaching girls and going around scouting other teams and stuff, I don't see another coach in the stands recruiting and stuff as much as he does. And for him to put a school like that on the map the way he has is crazy. So I'm excited for him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I know him really well because Alex went there and played for him for 2 years, and she had a blast for 2 years. Obviously, they won a national championship, which was great, and played another one. I think they've played in 4 straight national championships and won 2 of them.
It's crazy.
Which is crazy at any level. So it'll be interesting. I know he's a big fan of the show, so I think he's happy to be on. It'll be fun to hear.
Coach Morong, thanks for coming on. We've been wanting to get you on for quite some time now, and thank you so much for doing it.
I appreciate being here, and thanks for having me, and thanks for just doing this in general. It's been great to kind of just hear from different coaches and players from different parts of the state in these weird times. It's been refreshing.
Awesome. We appreciate it. We're finding that out too, that the feedback we've been getting from a lot of coaches is it's a good way to just kind of keep your finger on basketball and the community that we have. So I don't know much about your background. I know you've been at CMCC for quite some time. Where you were prior, I think a lot of the viewers would like to hear that story. So go for it.
Yeah, so my father was the long time, I think 20 years. He was the girls varsity basketball coach at Morse High School. So that was my entire childhood. So I kind of, coaching's kind of been in my DNA literally since birth. So his last 3 years at Morse, I was his assistant coach, and my sister was the starting point guard on the team. So that was a super interesting family dynamic every day. So when my sister graduated, he retired for the first time, and I started applying for jobs. I wanted to become a head coach. I had really fallen in love with not just coaching, but coaching female athletes. I knew it's something I wanted to have as part of my life, from that point forward. So I started applying to jobs. I had several offers on the table, and I took the Poland Regional High School job, and that was the best professional decision I've ever made. We won 0 games in year 1. And it really just, I had to grow so much, not just as a coach, but as a man, to handle the dynamics of, dealing with administration, dealing with parents and things like that. And I had obviously I had a great mentor, my father, but then having Don King as the co-curricular director, that was a man with a lot more patience than myself. A man who was very understanding and very encouraging. And I still to this day love the Poland, RSU 16, Poland Mechanic Falls and Minot, because it taught me so much. And then CMCC was actually recruiting one of our seniors my last year. And we were coaching, it was a Lake Region doubleheader. So we were about to get our butts whooped by Paul True and the Lady Lakers by probably 30 or 40 points. So we were really looking forward to that. But surprisingly, at halftime, it was a quad game. So the boys were playing right after. And the CM men's coach, Dave Gagne, who was the athletic director, he was there getting ready to recruit at the guys' game. And it was actually only a 7-point game at halftime. We got them in foul trouble. We played way up and down. They ended up beating us by 30. But kind of my MO when I was at Poland was like, which we lost more than we did anything else, was I'm not going to stop coaching, and our kids are not going to stop working hard regardless of the scoreboard. We could be down by 50 to York, and we were still taking charges in the fourth quarter. That's kind of how our Poland teams were known. And Dave noticed that and approached me after the game and says, "Hey, if a job ever opens up at CM, I want you to apply for our women's job because you would be a perfect fit the way we do things." And 3 months later, it happened to open up. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to apply for it just so I can go through, the process of learning what it's like to interview for a college job. And, I won't get the job, but it'll be a good learning experience. And then they offered me the job. And that was a really, really tough decision. And since then, I've been at CM for the last 9 years and won a couple of games along the way and having a lot of fun.
Awesome. Which rolls right into my next question. You've obviously built quite the juggernaut. Talk a little bit about where the program was when you inherited it, and some of the things you've done to build it into, what it is today.
Yeah. So CM women's basketball has kind of always been a juggernaut since its inception. Mike Bridges was the only other coach in the program's history, coach at Westbrook College. I think he coached at South Portland and things like that way back. He did a tremendous job with the program. They were nationally, they got a Miss Basketball to commit to go there, and play there. So it's always been quite the program. But, as Mike was transitioning out, obviously it's tough when a coach is transitioning out to, fill the cupboard with recruits. So when I got there, there were really only returning players plus the girl that from Poland that I had coached. So we had 7 players in my first semester, and I was like, this isn't like what it's supposed to be like. I'm never going through this again. So at the break, we brought in 6 players at the break, and ever since then, it's all been about recruiting. It's recruiting, you know, and that's where all our success is. I like X's and O's. I hate X's and O's as a coach. I despise it. I think it's boring. I barely spend any time on it in practices, you know. So to me, I live and die, but you're only good as your players, right? So we just recruit. And how do you get better at the college level? You recruit better players and better people, you know. And that's where we're at now. And my recruiting philosophy has now shifted. It's not about winning games or championships anymore. Now that I'm a father, you know, it's about who I want around my family, you know. And if they happen to be really good basketball players, great. But I'm not going to take a spoiled brat or a jerk, you know, who can score 30 a game, because I don't want that type of person around my family. So that's kind of how it shifted. And that's why, you know, we just have such good connections with our players now. You know, literally they graduate and then they become like friends or part of our extended family. It's just really, I don't know, it's been really rewarding.
Yeah. It goes without saying you're quite the recruiter. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, thank you. You know, the one girl who made me wait the longest was maybe related to a couple of you guys. So that was only like a 10-month recruiting battle. So,
which actually this rolls right into the next question is the COVID impact that's been wreaking havoc on college coaches and their recruiting efforts. You know, what type of challenges have you come up against, and creative ways that you've been able to overcome them?
Yeah, a lot of Zoom, a lot of FaceTime, a lot of Zoom. It's been tricky. I mean, all of our evaluation was already done. So like we knew who we wanted. And for the most part, they had already visited campus. So we were really lucky in that regard, because we recruit a lot of underclassmen. We start building those relationships with sophomores and juniors. So really it was just about tying up loose ends for us, and then maybe trying to steal a couple kids that we probably wouldn't have had a chance to get if this didn't happen, you know? So, I think that it's presented some unique problems, but it's also presented some unique opportunities. Yeah. And that's been exciting. You know, we're getting 2 kids from Florida that we have no business getting. And if this didn't happen, I don't know if we would have gotten them. So, you know,
yeah,
gotta be prepared for stuff like this.
This time of year, what would you typically be doing in a normal world?
Coaching AAU. Actually, just really enjoying the break from AAU this year. So I coach in the main basketball club MVC program, and we travel a lot. We go to DC. We go all over the place, Albany, and so that's what I'd be doing. Not just coaching in games, but then recruiting at those events as well. So again, you know, that poses a problem. Is like, all right, how we're building our class for 2021 now and 2022, but now we can't evaluate these kids during AAU. But that also means no one else can evaluate them, you know? So it's like, all right, I've kind of flipped my thinking. It's like, we need to go after all the top dogs, because they're not getting junior year AAU for the kids that go to the scholarship level. That's your make or break year. Now they're not being seen. So we're going after all of those kids. So it's, again, just a unique opportunity.
Yeah.
So you see a ton of games each year. I can't tell you how many times I've been at a game and see you up there looking at players. What's the state of basketball in Maine, in your opinion, and how does it compare to games you see in other places in other states?
That's a really good question. I think it's pretty rough. You know, I think it's really hard going to a game and the final score being 35-30. You know, it's a race to 30. The first team to 30 wins. And I do think that's a problem. And I don't know what the problem is. I don't know. I don't like proposing a problem without a solution, you know, so it's a little tricky. But I feel like I remember, and maybe it was just because I was a kid, but I look back at my dad's teams at Morse. They were just, I mean, in the Western Maine tournament every year and sometimes conference favorites and things like that, and battled, you know, the Coney State Championship teams and the Macaulay State Championship teams and things like that. I feel like those teams would absolutely destroy the best teams right now. But maybe it's just because I'm like, look, I just evaluated talent differently back then. But those games were like 65-60, you know, and the low scoring games today aren't because of the stifling defense. You know, it's just, there's something just going on. But I think it's rough, but I don't think we're too far behind a lot of other states. Like we go to big AAU tournaments, and Chris has traveled with us. I coach Alex at AAU. Like we beat some of the best teams in other states, you know, we handed it to them. So I don't think we're too far off other states. I just think right now it's just so weird. Maybe it's just a cycle. I don't know.
What would you change in Maine high school basketball, if anything?
Well, first of all, the fouls need to be reset every quarter. You know, get rid of 1-and-1, go to 2 shots, add a shot clock if you can. I don't think that's the answer. I think it's part of the answer. You know, I think, I don't know, more games too. They need to play. I think there needs to be more games. The schedule needs to be 20. Like the kids in Florida, they play like 25 high school games and a Christmas tournament. You know, like it's like, geez, they get more opportunity, you know, to battle, and they get to travel a little bit more and things like that. So I think the coaches need more access to players too. And I'm not suggesting that student athletes should, you know, just go down to one sport and specialize in basketball or anything like that. I still think there's plenty of room to be a 2- and 3-sport athlete, but like kids can't get in the gym in April to get shots up. Like, come on, like that, you cannot argue that makes sense. There's no logical argument to that. Their parents are taxpayers in the city that they live in. They should have access to facilities. There's no way around it.
Agree. Right. Back to Central Maine, what separates you guys from other schools that you're competing with or recruiting against, or in-state and out-of-state? What separates you guys?
Well, I think cost obviously is a big thing. I mean, it's really hard to beat $94 a credit hour. I mean, it's literally the lowest in New England, so that helps a lot. I think our campus too, especially now with the brand new turf facility and esports and all kinds of brand new renovations and things going on. The college has dumped millions and millions of dollars into the campus. Rarely do we get a kid on campus for an official visit and not get them. Like the campus just sells itself, and the faculty and the staff are so welcoming and engaging. So I think it's a team effort. It's not like me recruiting a kid. It's like our college is recruiting you. Like literally, if I wanted, like the president would call a kid or the kid's parents if that meant that we were going to get that student athlete or that student. So yeah, but other than that, I just think it's the family atmosphere too. Going back to what I talked about earlier and shifting the recruiting, you know, strategy a little bit is we preach family, and I think a lot of teams talk about family, and it's like a cliche thing. So I kind of like don't like talking about family because it's so cliche now. But we we have kids from all over the world. Like I have to be their kind of pseudo dad while they're here because their parents are 2,000 miles away or whatever it is, you know? So I think we do a great job of kind of facilitating that family environment. And I think in recruiting, I'm brutal in recruiting. Like I am just brutally honest, you know, upfront and honest from the get-go. And I tell them, this is how it's going to be. And if you don't like it, don't come here, you know? And believe it or not, you would think in today's society, kids wouldn't like that, but they actually really like that. And their parents, eat it right up, you know? So we set our 4 priorities for every kid. We tell them this is how it's going to be. And if it all doesn't line up, please don't try it. Go somewhere else. Don't waste our time. Don't waste your time and money, you know? So I think it's just a lot of little things.
A pregame ceremony or the pregame stuff might have something to do with it too.
Yeah, the whole light show, and we have the big jumbotron, 24-foot diagonal jumbotron in the gym now. You know, that all helps. You know, it all little things add up. That's right.
Question.
My turn. Obviously, I've been around your program a little bit. I think some things I've seen is obviously you've built a great culture there. You know, you're still able to push the kids and get on the kids, and they stick with it. Obviously, they're very competitive. So just discuss a few things that help you build that culture, to keep that your program at a competitive level like it has been.
I think it's communication, and again, it goes back to recruiting. Everything goes back to recruiting, but from the get-go in recruiting, we tell them that, you're going to come here and there are going to be times you're going to hate me, and that's okay. There's going to be times I'm probably going to hate you too, but we're going to get through it together like a family. But I push every kid beyond what they think they're capable of, and when they get to that point, I say good job, but it's not like we're going to celebrate it. We're on to the next thing. We keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing, and that can become a grind for a lot of young college students, which is really all we deal with. Especially the freshmen, they really, really struggle with that sometimes. So I have to be a clear communicator, but I can't just always be the jerk. I can't be always pushing, and manipulating and things like that. They have to know that they can come into my office and shut the door and talk to me about anything. We have to laugh more than we do everything else. So it's all a delicate balancing act, they know, and that I can be in a meeting on a phone meeting or something like that. They can come in my office, shut the door, and just talk to me about life, talk to me about what's going on at home, talk to me about what's going on in a class, or call me a jerk, because it's behind a closed door and we can have an adult conversation. So I just think that's really, really important. And when I first started in college, I didn't have any of the other stuff. I was just hard on them all the time. And in 2014, the year we went to the national championship game for the first time, the captain, Susie French, and then Maggie McConkey from Freiburg, they pulled me aside, and it was about a week before a conference tournament. And they pulled me aside in the middle of a practice, and Susie looked at me and she said, "Coach, you're being an a-hole. You got to back off." And my first reaction was, who does she think she is? I just wanted to rip her head off. But then I was like, wait, she's the captain. She's using her voice. I have to respect that. And I kind of just took a deep breath and I said, all right. And it was kind of like that moment where I handed over the keys, and let them drive. And I don't think if she hadn't done that, we wouldn't have gotten to the national championship game. So it took that really big moment. And now it's always to me, now it's a game. It's how quickly or when can I get the team the keys? Because I shouldn't be driving. If I'm driving this in March, we're in trouble. They have to have the ownership of that. So that was a huge moment for our program. I'm talking about the guts to do that, say that to your coach. And she didn't she went up one side of me and down the other. It was pretty brave.
Yeah. So this is another question. I know what the answer is, but I'd like to get your answer. Do you feel because you coach women's basketball at the small college level that the success that you've had doesn't get the credit that it probably deserves?
I think a lot of people don't realize how good small college basketball in Maine is on the women's side. I think all around, you look at you can define small college in a lot of ways. We're actually the 5th biggest college in the state of Maine. So, we're a small college, but so is Bowdoin. Look what Bowdoin does every year. They don't get the credit they deserve. They should get so much more. UNE didn't make the NCAA tournament this year. They still won 20 some odd games, and someone asked their coach about it being a down year. They won 20 games at the NCAA Division III level, playing in a ridiculously tough conference. So even Fort Kent is way more competitive than people think. Or what Coach Dagan does at Maine Maritime and Kissy at Hudson. We have some of the best D3 and USCA programs, not just in the region, in the entire country. And that does not get enough credit. That's what doesn't get enough credit. I just think all of that gets overlooked because we dominate our levels, and we do it mostly with Maine kids.
Yep.
So you've had a ton of really, really good players. And this is probably going to be a tough question, but all-time CMCC starting 5.
It is a tough one.
Don't forget Alex.
No pressure from the 2 family members in here.
Well, it's funny. It's a good timing for this question because we have sat down and we do an all-decade team. We have a big banquet and things like that. And obviously we don't know when that's going to happen now, but we have a whiteboard, and the women's team is listed on there. So we do have the 10 picked for the all-decade. Dwindle it down to 5, that's tough. Definitely Susie French. She's the best player to ever play at CM. Maggie Sabine, who played at Oak Hill. She went on to play and tied the single game scoring record at St. Michael's. Those two, we had them on the same team. Brooke Reynolds, obviously, she's a 2-time national champion and 3-time first-team All-American. The guards are really, really tricky.
He's sweating right now.
Oh, yeah.
And having to think a long time about it, Coach, is a good thing. You know?
Yeah, I know, right?
Good problem.
Rattling
I
along.
mean, like, our program has changed so much. It's like, I don't know, like, girls that dominated back when I first started, I don't know if they would dominate now, but if you ask them, they would tell you they would dominate now.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Right.
We did lose the alumni team this year in the preseason. The alumni team beat us, you know, so.
Yep.
So point guard, I think it's going to be – I'm probably going to go with Alex and then either Kristen Huntress or Gabby Foy as our shooter. You know, that's a really tough one. I guess I'll go with Gabby just because Kristen had the opportunity to win a national championship. So, yeah.
That's a pretty good team.
It's a great team and a tough
Yeah,
situation.
it's a great team. And the next 5 we could pick, we could beat that team, you know, so.
Yeah.
It's tricky.
So kind of changing gears a little bit. So esports in Maine. Obviously, you guys have it at CMCC, and it just came out that it's going to become a high school varsity sport in Maine.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what exactly esports consist of, and what do you think about it coming to Maine high school sports?
Yeah, so we actually worked with the MPA on this a little bit. We met with Mike back in, I want to say September or October about the MPA doing this. So I think it's really exciting. I think it engages a group of students that typically go unengaged, which I think is awesome. I think it's way more powerful than people think it is. This is going to be huge. At our college, in 2 years, there will be more esports players than student athletes. You know, that's how big it's getting at our institution. So I think this is huge. And I think there's going to be a lot of students interacting with each other that typically wouldn't have interacted with each other. And I think that is really cool because, you know, I have girls on my team who play video games. You know, they play NBA 2K. And they're in there playing, they're in our esports arena playing NBA 2K with like an automotive student. You know, who they didn't meet before that. They didn't even shoot in the breeze and interacting with each other. So I think you're going to see that a lot at the high school level. And I think that's really, really exciting. It's not as easy to pull off as people are maybe making it seem. Like, you can't necessarily just do esports even in this world we're in right now, because people have to have reliable internet connections, really good internet connections. You know, they have to be able to compete. So if their internet's slower than the person they're competing against, they're going to lose, you know? So it's a lot to take into consideration, but this is going to be massive. And I'm so glad the MPA is they're being progressive with this. They really, really are. And that's exciting because I don't think they necessarily get a lot of credit for being progressive sometimes.
That explains why I lose so much in video games. My internet must suck.
Yeah. That's why we're terrible at them.
Yeah, same here, right? I played Fortnite the other day with Alex, actually, and yeah, that's why we didn't win, was because of my internet.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
So this question is kind of developed from Coach Meter. If you've watched the other episode, you kind of understand what's coming. But so if you had the chance to steal the talent or knowledge of any individual, one male, one female, who would it be?
Yeah, I've heard you ask this question before, and it's a very tricky question. And they have to be living, because you guys kind of go back and forth on this.
Right. Yeah,
are we allowing?
It's got to be living.
Okay. Because the easy answer for female is Pat Summitt, but that doesn't count. So for female, I'd have to go with probably like a Becky Hammond or a Nancy Lieberman. You know, someone that's really crossed that gender gap. I think that's really cool and very progressive. I think either one of them would have just obviously have an immense amount of knowledge and are extremely talented at what they do. On the male side of things, basketball related, it'd probably actually be Nolan Richardson. 40 Minutes of Hell. You know, we press teams all the time. I think we could be better at it. I would love to sit down with him for an hour and just pick his brain. I think that'd be really cool. Or maybe one of his prodigies like Mike Anderson, who's at St. John's now. I think that'd be really interesting. Not basketball related, it would definitely be someone like Warren Buffett or something like that because I want to make money. So
Yeah. Great answers.
So last question. You already said how you watched all the episodes. So any suggestions for us as far as moving on in the den?
I like the interaction, you know, when you have multiple people on, like when you had Coach True and Coach Abbott, I thought that was just hilarious. You know, I love, you know, they weren't just interacting with you, they were interacting with each other, and it was a nice little triangle, you know. I thought that was really cool. That was a super engaging episode. I just went back and watched a little bit of it earlier today, actually. So I love that kind of stuff. You know, maybe do like a panel or something, you know.
Yeah. We like that too, and we're kind of kicking ourselves for not doing more dual interviews like that for sure. We got a couple ideas like that, but thank you. Thanks for the feedback.
Yeah.
All right. So some rapid fire get to know you questions for the audience. So try to answer it as quickly as you can. 1 sentence, 2 sentences, but quick and easy. Your favorite movie genre?
I like sci-fi kind of space sort of movies.
Okay. Favorite movie?
Is not one of those. It's Shawshank. Shawshank Redemption, all the way.
Oh, that's a good one. What's your golf handicap?
Probably my age, 33.
Okay. Give a quick fun fact about Andrew Morong.
Geez, I'm not that interesting. I don't know. I have a 2-year-old son.
How much do you bench press?
Not enough.
How much do you squat?
I hate squats. I hate it. I hate the way it makes me feel. I hate the next day. I hate the day after that day. I hate that.
Yeah, 2 days later is tough. You're not coaching. If you can't coach, what are you doing?
I have no idea. And that's a scary thought, to be honest with you. Probably trying to become a better golfer. Do a lot more of that.
Can you beat Alex Bessie in Fortnite?
Oh, easy. That's easy.
What's your favorite hobby?
My favorite hobby, even though I'm awful at, is golf. It's a chance for me to not think about anything other than what's happening right in front of me.
How many high school games did you attend last year?
Oh, geez. 70.
Wow.
Down from 115 the year before that.
Top 3 songs on Andrew Morong's playlist.
Oh, 90s hip hop on Pandora. So anything from NWA, Tupac, Biggie, those guys, love that stuff.
And you have to play one defense for the rest of your coaching career. You can't play other defense. What defense are you playing?
Man to man.
All
Up
right.
in your face, all over the place.
All right, ready for this or that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Red Sox or Yankees?
Sox.
Sox. So your cup's in the cupboard. You want the right side up or upside down?
Upside down.
Upside down. Barstool Sports or Bleacher Report?
Barstool all the way.
Duke or UNC?
Duke.
Good answer. Beyonce or Rihanna?
I definitely not Beyonce, and I'm not really a big fan of Rihanna either.
Sweet potato fries or French fries?
French fries. Sweet potatoes are gross.
Sneakers or dress shoes?
Sneakers.
Football or baseball?
Football. I actually can't stand baseball.
Wow.
I know. It's sorry, Chris.
That's
This is
bold.
boring.
That's
It's boring. I know. I'm sorry. I just can't get into it anymore.
All right. Tupac or Biggie?
That is a tough one. I'm just listening to music. Tupac. If I want to have a good time, Biggie.
Maine high school, shot clock or no shot clock?
Shot clock.
MJ or LeBron?
That's not even a question, MJ. And I know where you stand on that. Yeah.
I think the whole country does at this point.
I'll own it. Mark Wahlberg or Matt Damon?
Oh, that's a tough one. I got to go Matt Damon just because he was in The Martian, and that's kind of one of my weird movies I like.
Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram?
Instagram is the most powerful recruiting tool I have ever used.
Boxing or MMA?
I can't get into either of them, guys. And I know you guys like that stuff. I can't do it. Neither of them interest me.
Have you watched the Conor McGregor fight?
Yeah, I've watched a Conor McGregor.
All right. I think Chris has one more. Johnny McLaughlin or Dan Neto?
We'll go, Johnny.
All right, cool.
Johnny Mac.
Cool. Let's go.
Coach Morong, this was a lot of fun. I learned a lot more about you. I'm pumped that you're a Biggie fan. It's gone a long way in my book. Continued success. Hopefully we get through this. Hopefully we have a season next year and we can come down and watch you win a lot of games, except when you play SM, who hasn't beaten you. I understand that. But as a grad, I'm always going to root for them. Continued success.
It's been a while, so yeah. But we'll keep doing it. We'll keep doing our thing, and yeah, thanks for having me. It's that social interaction, it's nice.
Right. God bless, buddy, and best of luck going forward.
All right, see you guys.
All right, take care.
Yeah, real.